There's a moment when someone comes back from the edge of death and everything changes. Not the dramatic return, that's just the beginning. It's what happens after. They're lying in a hospital bed or sitting at home recovering, and the world looks different. Colors seem brighter. Conversations feel hollow. The things that mattered before, the career stress, the argument with their partner, the worry about what people think, suddenly feel absurdly small, and inside they're carrying something they can't fully explain. A sense that they've seen something, felt something, knew something beyond the physical world. Maybe they saw a light. Maybe they felt infinite peace. Maybe they met loved ones who had died. Or maybe they just had an overwhelming sense that consciousness doesn't end when the body does. They don't talk about it much. People either dismiss it as brain chemistry or turn it into something mystical and unreachable. But the experience changed them at a fundamental level, and now they're trying to live in a world that feels less real than the place they briefly touched. The question isn't just what happened, it's how do I live now, knowing what I know. This tension between two realities shows up everywhere after a near-death experience. But it also shows up for people who've never been near death, people who've had spiritual awakenings, profound meditations, psychedelic experiences, or moments of such clarity that ordinary life afterward feels like sleepwalking. In relationships, someone who's had a near-death experience struggles to care about the same conflicts. Their partner is upset about dishes or schedules, and they think, we could die tomorrow. Does this actually matter? They don't say it. They try to engage. But inside, they feel like they're living in two worlds, one where these things matter and one where they don't. The disconnection grows. At work, they can't muster the same drive. The promotions, the politics, the performance reviews, it all feels like theater. They've seen that life continues beyond the body, and now climbing a corporate ladder feels absurd. But they can't just quit. They have bills, responsibilities, so they go through the motions, feeling like an actor in someone else's play. In family dynamics, they want to talk about what they experienced, but it's met with awkward silence or rational explanations. It was just lack of oxygen to the brain, someone says. Or, you're reading too much into it. They stop sharing. They carry the experience alone, isolated by the very thing that gave them clarity. Alone, they replay the experience constantly, the feeling of being held, the sense of coming home, the knowing that death isn't the end. And they think, how do I integrate this? How do I live fully here when part of me knows there's more? On the outside, they seem fine, maybe even changed for the better, more present, more grateful. On the inside, they're navigating a profound disorientation, trying to reconcile two truths that most people never have to hold at once. Most people aren't taught how to hold these experiences. A girl grows up in a culture that says consciousness is just brain activity, that death is the end, that anything beyond that is wishful thinking or religious fantasy. When she has a spiritual experience, maybe during a crisis, maybe spontaneously, she has no framework for it. She learns to dismiss it. I was hallucinating. I was stressed. It wasn't real. She silences the part of herself that knows otherwise. A boy grows up in a religious household where near-death experiences are either proof of heaven or dangerous deception. When he hears about someone's NDE, he's told to interpret it through a specific lens. It's either validation of his faith or a trick of the devil. He doesn't learn to hold the mystery. He learns to collapse it into certainty. As adults, people who've had near-death experiences or similar consciousness-expanding moments live with this split. Part of them knows something profound. Part of them doubts it constantly. They're caught between materialism, consciousness is just neurons firing, and spirituality, consciousness continues beyond the body. And culture offers no middle ground, no language for, I don't know what I experienced, but it changed me, and I can't go back to pretending it didn't happen. This connects to what researchers call transformative experiences and what psychologists call meaning-making after trauma or crisis. Near-death experiences aren't just medical events, they're consciousness events. And whether they're glimpses of an afterlife, neurological responses to dying, or something else entirely, the impact is real. People come back changed. And the question isn't whether the experience was objectively real. The question is, How do you integrate it so it becomes a source of growth instead of disconnection? The cost of not integrating these experiences shows up as profound isolation and disorientation. At work, someone who's had an NDE feels like they're living a lie. They sit in meetings talking about quarterly goals, and inside they're screaming, "None of this matters. We're all going to die. Why are we pretending this is important?" They don't say it. They know it sounds extreme, nihilistic, or preachy, so they stay quiet. But the dissonance eats at them. They feel fake, hollow, like they're betraying what they learned on the other side. In romantic relationships, the gap widens. Their partner hasn't had the experience. They can't understand why everything feels different now. "You've changed," they say. And it's true. But how do you explain that you've seen beyond the veil, that you've felt what it's like to be free of the body, and now everything here feels both precious and meaningless at the same time? You can't. So you stop trying, and the loneliness deepens. In family dynamics, they're met with skepticism or over-spiritualization. Some family members dismiss it as a hallucination. Others turn them into a spiritual authority, asking for answers they don't have. Neither response honors the actual experience, the confusion, the awe, the not knowing. They feel unseen in both directions. In friendships, they lose patience for small talk. They want to talk about meaning, about death, about what's real. But most conversations stay surface level. They start to withdraw, not because they're better than others, but because they're struggling to live in a world that doesn't acknowledge what they now know. Inside, the self-talk is relentless. Am I crazy? Did I imagine it? If it was real, why can't I access that peace now? Why do I still get angry, scared, petty? If I saw the truth, why am I still so human? The exhaustion comes from trying to live in two worlds at once, the mystical and the mundane, without a bridge between them. The "why does this bother me so much?" moment is constant. Why does their old life feel so empty now? Why can't they just go back to normal? The cost of staying stuck in this split is a slow erosion of meaning. They stop engaging fully with life because it feels less real than what they touched. And that's the tragedy. The NDE showed them how precious life is, but now they can't fully live it. But here's the shift, the reframe that changes everything. Near-death experiences and other consciousness-expanding moments aren't meant to remove you from life. They're meant to deepen your engagement with it. The peace you felt, the love, the sense of being held, that's not reserved for the other side. It's available here, right now, in this body, in this moment. The work is learning to bring it through, to embody it, to let it transform how you live rather than how you escape. The experience isn't the end, it's the beginning of a new way of being. And the gift isn't in leaving this world behind, it's in seeing this world more clearly. The beauty, the fragility, the preciousness of being alive right now. The people who integrate these experiences don't become detached or nihilistic. They become more present, more engaged, more alive. Not because life's problems disappear, but because they stop needing life to be different than it is. They've seen that consciousness continues, so they can finally relax into the moment, knowing it's not the only moment, that there's more beyond, and that makes this moment more precious, not less. That paradox, caring deeply while holding lightly, is what integration looks like. And it's not about believing in an afterlife or proving the NDE was real. It's about living as if this life matters infinitely and as if it's not all there is. Both, at once. That's the wisdom the experience offers. Not escape, but full presence. So how do you actually integrate a near-death experience or any consciousness-expanding moment into daily life without losing yourself in either spiritual bypassing or nihilistic detachment? Here are practical, grounded steps. Honor the experience without needing to prove it. The first practice is to stop trying to convince yourself or others that the experience was objectively real. You don't need proof. You need integration. The practice is to write down what you experienced in as much detail as you can remember. Not to analyze it or defend it, but simply to honor it. Let it be mysterious. Let it be unexplainable. Let it be yours. A woman had an NDE during surgery. She saw her deceased grandmother, felt overwhelming love, and came back fundamentally different. For years, she tried to prove it was real, reading scientific studies, seeking validation from spiritual communities. Finally, she stopped. She wrote down the experience in a private journal and said to herself, "This happened to me. I don't need to prove it to anyone. I need to live from what it taught me." That shift freed her from the exhausting need for external validation. The difficulty here is the deep human need for others to believe us and validate our reality. To move through it, know that your experience is valid whether or not anyone else believes it or understands it. It changed you. That's enough evidence. Bring the peace into the present moment. During the NDE, you likely felt peace, love, unity, or a sense of being home. That wasn't just over there in some other realm. It's a state of consciousness you can access here, now in this body. The practice is to cultivate that state through daily meditation, breathwork, or simply pausing throughout your day to remember and reconnect with that feeling. A man who had an NDE describes feeling completely held, like he was finally home after a long journey. Now, when he's stressed or overwhelmed, he closes his eyes, takes 3 deep breaths, and consciously remembers that feeling of being held. It doesn't solve the external problem, but it shifts his internal state completely. He's bringing the other side here, into his nervous system, into this moment. The difficulty is thinking the peace only exists after death or in some other dimension. To move through it, practice accessing it now. Daily, it's not somewhere else. It's a frequency, a state you can tune into. Reframe life as sacred, not meaningless. After seeing beyond the physical, it's easy to fall into thinking that life here doesn't matter, that it's all an illusion or a game. But the reframe is this: because life is temporary and physical existence is brief, it matters more, not less. The practice is to notice small moments of beauty, connection, and presence as sacred. Not in a religious way, but in a "this is it, this is the gift" way. A woman who had an NDE used to dismiss small moments: a sunset, her child's laugh, morning coffee, a conversation with a friend. After the experience, she started pausing for them, really seeing them, feeling them, not because they're cosmically profound, but because they're fleeting. And that fleetingness makes them infinitely precious. The difficulty is falling into spiritual nihilism where nothing matters. To move through it, remember, the NDE showed you that life continues, which means you can stop fearing death and start fully, courageously living. Find others who understand the integration struggle. You cannot integrate this alone in isolation. The practice is to find communities, online forums, local support groups, or spiritual communities of people who've had similar experiences. Not to create an echo chamber or to prove anything, but simply to be seen and understood without having to explain or defend yourself. A man joined an online NDE support group. For the first time since his experience, he could say, "I don't know how to care about my career anymore. It all feels meaningless, but I still have to pay rent. How do you bridge that?" And people nodded. They got it. They were living the same tension. That validation alone helped him integrate. He stopped feeling crazy or broken. The difficulty is the isolation that comes with having an experience most people haven't had. To move through it, actively seek out others who've walked this path. You're not alone, even if it feels like it. Let the experience transform your priorities. Gradually, the NDE is showing you what truly matters. The practice is to let that insight slowly, sustainably reshape your life. Not dramatically, don't quit your job tomorrow or abandon your responsibilities, but gradually, intentionally. Ask yourself, what do I actually care about now? What can I let go of? What do I need to protect? A woman realized after her NDE that she didn't care about impressing people or maintaining appearances anymore. She stopped posting performatively on social media. She stopped attending social events out of obligation. She simplified her life, her commitments, her relationships. It felt like shedding old skin. The difficulty is guilt and the fear of being irresponsible or selfish. Am I abandoning my duties? Am I being self-centered? To move through it, remember, you're not rejecting life or responsibilities. You're honoring what you learned about what's truly real and what's truly important. Hold the mystery without collapsing it. You don't need to figure out definitively what the NDE was, hallucination, spiritual truth, neurological event, or something else entirely. The practice is to hold it as sacred mystery. Let it be both real and unexplainable. Let it change you without needing to collapse it into a single story or explanation. A man who had an NDE stopped trying to explain it scientifically or spiritually. He just says now, I had an experience that fundamentally changed me. I don't fully understand it. And that's okay. That's it. No elaborate theology, no defensive neuroscience. Just lived embodied truth. The difficulty is the human need for certainty and clear answers. To move through it, get comfortable with, I don't know and I don't need to know. Mystery is not weakness or confusion. It's wisdom and humility. Embody the love you felt. The most commonly reported element of NDEs is overwhelming unconditional love. The practice is to become that love here in your daily life. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Be kinder. Forgive faster. Love more openly and vulnerably. You felt infinite love on the other side. Now live it here. A woman who felt completely unconditionally loved during her NDE started practicing that same love here. She forgave her estranged father. She stopped judging herself so harshly. She let people in instead of protecting herself. It wasn't easy or perfect, but it felt like honoring what she'd been shown. The difficulty is human imperfection and the fear of being hurt. To move through it, know that embodying love doesn't mean never getting angry, hurt, or defensive. It means choosing love more often than fear, little by little. Over time, life doesn't become blissful, problem-free, or enlightened, but it becomes more whole, more integrated, more real. You stop feeling split between two worlds. You start living in one world with far greater depth and presence. The NDE isn't something you left behind or need to get back to. It's woven into how you see, how you choose, how you love, how you live each ordinary moment. Relationships shift naturally. Some people can't meet you in the new depth and authenticity. That's okay. Others show up differently, more real, more present, more honest. You stop needing everyone to understand your experience. You just need to live true to what it taught you. At work, you find ways to bring meaning into what you do, or you change what you do, not from obligation, but from alignment. You realize that every interaction, every task can be infused with the presence and love you touched. You're not detached. You're engaged differently. Internally, you feel less fragmented. You're not constantly questioning if the experience was real or if you're crazy. You know it changed you, and that's what matters. You're learning to live as both human and spirit, as both mortal and eternal. And that integration is the real gift. Return to that moment when you came back from the edge and the world looked different. Before, you might have felt isolated by that difference, split between what you knew and what you could live. Now you see it differently. The NDE wasn't an escape from life. It was an invitation into life. Deeper, fuller, more awake. The peace you felt isn't reserved for death. It's here, available in every breath when you remember to access it. The love you experience isn't somewhere else. It's what you're made of, what you can give. You're not split between two worlds anymore. You're bridging them with every conscious choice, every moment of presence, every act of love. This is ongoing, lifelong work. Some days you'll feel connected to that infinite perspective. Some days you'll be fully caught in mundane frustration. That's okay. That's being human. You're not trying to transcend being human. You're trying to be more fully human, more awake, more alive. Thank you for being here and staying with us all the way through. If this resonated, consider subscribing for more videos on consciousness, psychology, and spiritual growth. And I'd genuinely love to hear from you. Have you had a near-death experience or another consciousness-expanding moment? How has it changed you? How are you integrating it into daily life? Share in the comments if you feel comfortable.